What's up everybody, you're watching Tech Dangus, and in this video we are going to take a look at 3 different lavalier mic sets at 3 varying price points. We're gonna test them out, see how they sound, see what the benefits are, whether they're overpriced, underpriced, whether they'll work for you. I don't know, we're gonna make some assessments. Stay tuned. All right, before we get going, if you are thinking about purchasing one of these wireless systems, please consider using one of the affiliate links in the description. It will give me a little bit of a kickback, however, it will not cost you any differently to do so. All right, with that being said, some of you eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that I do have a lavalier system on me right now. Normally, I gaff tape it to my chest under my shirt so you don't see it, but I figured for the spirit of this video, that would be silly. So I do have the Rode Filmmaker with the included Rode wireless lav connected, and I do have the, where is it? The fuzzy, the very, very fuzzy pop filter on it. All right, so the first kit we're gonna take a look at is the Movo WMX1. This seems to be a really popular model all of a sudden. All the big YouTubers are getting them sent to them to try out. So I bought one myself to try out as well to see if it is good as everybody says. I think this one's like 120 bucks. It does come in a single, or you could get a dual system with 2 transmitters and 1 receiver, and I think that's like 180 bucks. But I just went with the single for now to test it out. You know, if it's really good, I might end up buying the dual because it's just such a good value. We'll see. But when you open the box, you are greeted with this very nice case. Now, I've already opened all these and used them because I was testing them out before this video, so this isn't a true unboxing, but you know, this is what you would get if you were to open the box for the first time. So the Movo units, they are a little bit smaller than most of the belt-mounted and camera-mounted lavalier systems that I've used. You can kind of stick on the belt clip by kind of just popping it on like that. I don't know how long this system's gonna last because it is just 2 little plastic rails. And then this is all plastic. So it's plastic on plastic construction, which, I mean, for something that costs this much money, I'm not surprised. On the receiver kit, you do have a volume control and pairing thing. You hold them both down, on-off switch. And then on the top, you do have a headphone jack, which is nice, so you can monitor what you're doing with the pack itself and a line out. And then, of course, you have either the belt clip, or if you want to swap that out, you also have a hot shoe mount that you can slide onto there. And it does have a 1/4-inch tripod thread, but the whole thing is, once again, plastic construction. So durability and longevity, you know, I mean, it is a cheaper item compared to the other 2, but so far, you know, you seem to get a lot out of it for what you get. Taking a look at the transmitter, same thing. You do have a belt clip that you can kind of slide off. Although on this one, I don't know why you would. And then, yeah, once again, you have a pairing button on the side, on-off switch, and a line in, and your microphone port. This one does come with a lavalier mic, which, let's see how long the cable is on this one. It's pretty decent. This table is 60 inches long, so this is like, I don't know, probably about 50 inches, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on that, I'll put it on the screen. And it does come with a clip and pop filter. The pop filter is just your standard foam, you know, just kind of sits on the end. Taking the pop filter off, it is kind of a chunky microphone. It's kind of fat. Definitely not as slim as the Rode Filmmaker that I have on me right now, but the pop filter is a lot less intrusive than the one I have on me now. So that slides on there, and then the clip slides on, and then you can clip the lavalier to whatever. I wouldn't really clip it right to a shirt like that. If it were me, I'd use my collar, and yeah, there you go. So size-wise, much smaller of a package than most belt pack lavalier systems, which is nice for portability. It's also very lightweight. So taking a look at the batteries, you do have a slidey battery port on each one. They both are going to take AAA size batteries, 2 of them to be exact. And I mean, that's cool. I wish they were AA's, but obviously those are bigger and would take up more space. So to keep the size small, you know, they're using AAA's. That's cool. I'm fine with that. It also comes with a standard right angle to straight TRRS cable. And this is cool actually, because since it is a tip ring sleeve cable, you'll be able to plug this directly into a phone. So you could do either a camera or a phone. It does come with a regular TRS cable, which is just tip ring sleeve. This is what you would use if you're using it with your camera. This one is what you would use if you were plugging into a phone. And yeah, that's that's pretty much it for the Movo system. I'm really impressed with this case. It's kind of like a semi-hard shell case. It definitely has a decent amount of impact protection. If you were to throw this in a backpack or, you know, a piece of luggage with a bunch of gear in it, I wouldn't be worried about the contents being damaged. High quality zipper, looks like it'll last a long time. So overall, yeah, I mean, just first impressions, I think this is a very solid system for 120 bucks. Really, the biggest thing is gonna be sound quality. So I'm going to go ahead and put this system on instead of the Rode system, and we're gonna take a look at the next set in the lineup. All right, so I've swapped the audio out now for the Movo kit. I don't know if you can hear a difference, but hopefully not, because that's kind of the whole point. You want them all to kind of sound the same. But this is the Movo setup now, a little bit less intrusive on the pop filter, which is nice. And the next system we're gonna look at is the Rode Wireless Go. So this one is 200 bucks, and it's a little bit different than the other two systems in the fact that while it still does have kind of a belt pack receiver setup, the belt pack is actually a clip-on lavalier within itself. So we'll open this up. Now, once again, I've already opened this up to use it. I bought this in January, so it's been used quite a bit in the past few months. But yeah, you open this up, you get this nice little quick start guide diagram, kind of cool. And then here's the actual wireless system. So look how small that is. They're so tiny. And that's nice because the way they marketed this is something that you can just turn on and throw on a subject and just be ready to go. You can buy the lavalier kit that I was just using with the Filmmaker Kit separately for about 80 bucks and plug that into the microphone portion of this, which, as you can see, there's an 1/8 inch plug slot right there. But you know, you don't have to, which is nice. And so as we turn them on, you'll notice they pair right up, and when I talk into it, you can see level on the meter going up and down there. So super easy, simple, convenience. So you actually get 2 of these USB-C to USB-A cables. I only have one in the box because I'm using one right now upstairs. But you get 2 of those, and then strangely enough, you get 2 of these pop filters. I guess if you lose one, because there's only one microphone, so I don't know why you would need 2 of the pop filter, but that just, it has a little like clippy thingy, and it just clips right onto the top. You kind of have to like line it up and then pop it in. But yeah, that just sits right there on the top, and I mean, look at that. It's like a little, remember those like troll dolls? It kind of looks like one of those troll dolls. It has like a little head of hair on it. Kind of cool. And then yeah, you clip it to, you know, whatever you need to clip it to. And it's, you know, obviously it's nowhere near as small and discreet as an actual lavalier clip-on mic, but once again, they made these to be super easy. You know, you spend 200 bucks, you get the whole system, it's all ready to go. Now these, they don't have, you know, batteries that you can replace, obviously, because they're so small. So they are USB-C chargeable, and they have a USB-C port on the side there. Now, having used these for a couple months, I will say that I'm not a huge fan of that. It is convenient and there's no batteries to swap out, but the battery charge doesn't last a super long time. It'll get you through a shoot, but you know, you'll get a couple hours out of it and it'll be dead. But the main thing is the standby time. Surprisingly enough, these do not hold a charge for very long. If you leave these on your shelf for a month, they're gonna be dead, which I kind of find to be a bit weird. So make sure you have these plugged in USB, you know, if you're gonna go out and do a shoot with them. Make sure you have them ready to go, because there is a possibility that they won't be charged when you go to grab them. But anyway, box contents, didn't even get through that yet. You do get a TRS, cool nifty red coiled cable. They don't give you a TRRS cable like the last setup, so you can't plug it right into a phone. It's gonna have to be plugged into a camera, but you know, still cool cable, good quality, a little bit higher quality than what you get with the first kit. And then along with your 2 pop filters, you get a cool little carrying pouch, and that all will fit right into that pouch very nicely. Throw those in there. Yeah, pretty cool. It's a neoprene kind of material with a cloth lining. It's functional. It's not nearly as cool as the case that you get with the Movo kit, but you know, higher quality. They spent the money on the actual quality of the product rather than the accessories that you get with it. So, you know, it is what it is. So the main appeal of this is, let's say you have, you know, a portable vlogging setup or something. This is an A6600 with the Sigma 16mm. Obviously you want to try to keep things as small as possible. So the belt clip is actually the size of a hot shoe mount, and that just slides right in there. And then you clip your clip onto whatever, and that is obviously a very small package. The Movo kit isn't huge, so if you did have to put that on there, it's not gonna be the end of the world, but it does stick up a little bit further and it does take up more space. This is gonna be your most minimalist setup, and then not having to have a lavalier, you know, actually like going down through your shirt and clipped onto your belt or whatever, makes it a little bit easier. And the nice thing too is if you do have like an A6600 or a 6400, it doesn't completely block the screen. Unfortunately with these cameras, most mics, you know, you put them in the hot shoe mount, it is going to fully block your screen. This one, you can still see enough screen. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but there's enough there that at least you can kind of see what you're doing. With that being said, you know, quality-wise on these, they're very well made. The clip is pretty robust and it's actually kind of tight. It's kind of hard to get on and off. It's definitely not, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break, you know, right away. I've been using these for a couple months. They haven't broken yet, so seems like their durability is going to hold up pretty well. I would say that they're definitely on a much higher level than the Movo system. The Movo system feels really cheap, but you are getting a lot of features for less money, 120 bucks versus 200 bucks. And then if you were to pair this with a lavalier mic, of course you don't have to buy the Rode one. You could buy like a $20 one off Amazon. It's probably not going to sound as good, but you know, if you wanted to save money and still get kind of an all-in-one really small system, that's a great way to go. I wonder if you can charge it on the go. Let me get a All right, this is a power bank. Where'd my cables go? I'm curious to see if this will work while plugged in to a power bank. That'd be kind of cool. And I mean, if you have a Sony cameras allow you to power themselves from USB while in use. So here's my transmitter. Oh, my battery light's blinking. So I'm guessing it's charging and it still works. I'm talking into it and there you go. So obviously this isn't the most practical setup if you have this clipped onto you, but if you have it on your belt, you could do it that way. Or if your receiver itself is the one that's running low on power, you could just plug that in. And yeah, so you do get the little I am charging indicator. I don't know if that's visible, but there's that. You get the I am charging indicator showing it is plugged into power, and you are still getting level on the system. So if you need to use these and you're running out of battery, you could plug in a USB and a power bank and use it at the same time. So same thing with your camera. If you're a Sony user, you can have everything plugged into a couple power banks in your back pocket, and you can run and gun with these things all day long. Moving on to the next system, I'm going to swap out for these and apparently throw that across the room. All right, and last but not least, and when I say that I mean it quite literally because this is the most expensive offering of the bunch, this is the Rode Filmmaker Kit at $400. As you've noticed, I've switched over to the Wireless Go so you can hear what the Wireless Go sounds like, and we're gonna take a look at what's in the big kit. So this comes out of its sleeve and you have the belt and the cam pack. So this one doesn't really give you a whole lot of extras. You get the belt pack itself and then a little bag full of goodies, which will include a lavalier mic and a windscreen. And then you do have a hot shoe mount that you can put on the back of the belt pack. And within the other package, you will have your receiver with its hot shoe mount. Now both of them are gonna have this belt clip on there, so if you are doing some handheld shooting and you don't want to put this thing on top of your camera, you could always just put that on your belt and then have a longer cable going up to the camera if you prefer, or you can use the hot shoe mount. This also comes with what they call a captive TRS cable. It has the little screw holder thingy on there. It also comes with only a TRS cable, not a TRRS. So once again, you'll only be able to hook this up to your camera right out of the box. However, you can get a TRRS adapter for a phone separately if you wish. Now you'll notice that in this kit, it does not come with a case of any kind. You get this little Rode pouch and that's it. No carrying case or anything, which is kind of a bummer at 400 bucks, but it is what it is. They put all their money into the actual quality of the item, which, I mean, these are obviously the most robust out of the three systems that we're looking at. Compared to the Movo, which is going to be the most, the closest comparison, the construction of this is much more solid. You do get an OLED screen at the top. As you turn that on, you can see the screen, and turn the belt pack on. That will also have a screen on the top letting you know what channel you're at. And then you can plug your lavalier mic in. Wow, I really did a number on that when I bunched it up, geez. The lavalier is gonna have a screw on for the 1/8 inch connector there as well. And then as you talk into it, you can see some level there on the receiver. Easy as that. You can select your channel. I think there's 8 different channels. I don't know why I'm like holding this up talking into it. It's not plugged in anything. It won't even let you change the channel once it's paired. Maybe you can mute it. There we go. They both mute when you mute one of them. The receiver there, you see they both mute. That's kind of cool. I'm just trying to change the channel, that's all. Maybe you have to hold it down for a really long time. Yeah, it definitely doesn't want to change channels on me. Maybe that's a safety feature. I'll investigate that and I don't know, put it in text on the video how to change the channel. So anyway, these units run off AA batteries. You just push down that button and slide the back down and it comes right off. I think that's the most convenient, honestly. I would rather have AA batteries than anything else. You do have your link button in there and then your dB switch. So if you want to turn down the sensitivity, there is a switch right under there. And another cool thing about these is you do have a USB port there. Now this isn't USB-C, this is going to be a USB mini. I think it's a mini or it's a micro. Nah, it's a micro. Micro USB. The kit does not come with a cable, which is kind of a bummer, but you can use just a standard USB-A to USB micro cable and plug it into a power bank, which I have right here, like I was using earlier. I'm not going to demonstrate it because it's pretty straightforward, but this works the same way that the Wireless Go works. If you plug a USB into this and into its micro port, you can use it while powered off of a USB device. I'm not sure if it charges rechargeable batteries while they're in there, but really you'd be using that if you were in a pinch and you ran out of batteries. The receiver has a sensitivity switch on the inside there, and so does the transmitter. Depending on how much you want to pick up from the mic itself, you can switch that from 0 to +10 to +20. I had it on +10 because 0 was not really doing it for my voice. It sounded really thin. Even at +10, it kind of sounded a little bit thin, but if you bring it up to +20, you do start to kind of hear everything that's in your environment. So looking at the lavalier mic itself, taking the pop filter off, it is a very thin lavalier mic, which is nice because it's, a little bit more discreet. Although once you put the pop filter on there, that goes out the window because obviously that's not the most discreet pop filter ever. However, if you are outside in the wind, this is going to be a lot more effective than just a regular little foam one like on the Movo. So, and then for the clip, I personally don't really like these clips. It's like a little tension clip. You push that in and it gets bigger and then you can put it around. It has these little rings on the microphone itself where you can kind of receive that little clip thingy. So depending on where you want to clip it, you have a couple different options. That's kind of cool, but I much prefer the kind of larger clip style that just clips right onto the mic. Personally, I think that's a little bit more effective. This thing does kind of loosen up after a while. You can kind of bend it the other way to tighten it up and it'll become tighter. So it works. Not the best clip ever, but definitely functional and a lot more discreet, clip and lavalier mic wise than other lavalier mics. So, do with that what you will. But yeah, overall, I think, for 400 bucks, I think it's definitely worth the money because just the construction of these alone, it just feels a lot more solid. Another thing I actually don't like is the belt clips. Instead of having like a full-size clip like on the Wireless Go or the Movo, these have like these little wireframe things, kind of like the lavalier mic, and they just pop right off. And I mean, that's how that goes on there. It just kind of, these stick into those holes on the side. I can't say I love it because they do pop out really easily and it is a little bit flimsy. It's definitely minimalist, but I don't know. I would rather have a more robust design personally. Once again, if these loosen up, you can kind of just bend them inward to kind of give it a little bit more force and then stick it back on there and it should grip enough to keep the thing in its holes. So yeah, overall, these obviously are going to be the highest quality. Are they worth 400 bucks? I mean, yes and no. At 400 bucks, I wish that it came with a carrying case because the Movo at 120, the quality you get out of it, the case, the construction, even though it is a little bit less high quality than what you get from these, it still is very functional. And if you're nice to them and careful with them, they should last a long time. And those are only 120 bucks. So that's kind of a big price difference between the two. Now, the Movos don't have an OLED screen display and they don't have a power button button, they have a switch on and off on the side of them. So if you forget to turn them off, you're gonna drain your battery and be pretty sad when you go back to your kit to use them again after forgetting to have turned them off. These, at least, you do have a power save feature where they will turn themselves off for you if you do forget to do so. At least I think. I might actually just be talking crap. I might be wrong on that. I'll put that down in the thing too in text, whether or not they have an auto off feature. But anyway, you know, for the price, it would be nice to have a carrying case. You can spend more money. These by themselves are $400, but if you spend, I think, $575, somewhere around there, they do come with a, you know, actual hard case with like foam, you know, on the inside to keep them in place, which is cool, but I just don't feel like you should have to pay more money than you're already paying for a $400 product to get a nice case to go with them. You know, a simple zip closed clamshell like the Movo comes with would have been perfectly adequate, and I think would have been a nice addition, but alas, you don't get one. I don't think there's anything else to talk about, so I'm just gonna do a quick side-by-side comparison. You have been listening to each one of them as I switch through the units, but I think it'll be a little bit easier to tell the difference when it's side-by-side, so get ready for that. This is what the Movo WMX1 sounds like. Normal speaking voice, no editing whatsoever. This is what the Rode Wireless Go sounds like. Normal speaking voice, no editing whatsoever. This is what the Rode Filmmaker Kit sounds like. Normal speaking voice, no editing whatsoever. All right, so we're gonna round off the video using the Rode Wireless Filmmaker Kit. I've actually been using this kit for the last couple videos I put out, so you've probably already heard it in use. Personally, sound-wise, I do think that this one does sound the best. The Movo, I would say, probably is the second best sounding, although it is a little bit boomy, so you do have to kind of adjust the bass a little bit, and it doesn't have as nice of a lav mic, so it distorts pretty easily. This one, you can change volume as you're talking. Loud things can occur near you, and it's not gonna distort as easily, whereas with the Movo, if you do have a loud occurrence or you start talking louder and your audio levels aren't set right, it will distort and give you a little bit of crunchiness. So, you know, there's your price difference coming in. One nice thing though is you can buy, like I said earlier in the video, the lavalier mic from Rode for $80 separately. And if you wanted to do, you know, a cheaper system that sounded just as good, you could always go with the Wireless Go and add the Rode lavalier mic to it. Another really cool factor about the Rode microphones is they do come in white. So if you are shooting weddings or corporate events, anything that's gonna require, you know, white clothing or a light background, or if you just have that visual aesthetic where everything in your studio is white, you can get a white lavalier mic to use with either kit, or if you want to buy the Wireless Go in full-blown white, it does come with a white receiver and white transmitter. You can buy the Rode lavalier mic in white and use it with the Movo kit, which will still be less expensive than buying the Filmmaker kit. However, you will get the better sound quality of the Rode lav mic and be able to maintain the white visual aesthetic. The Rode Wireless Go is going to be the most convenient out of the three, obviously with its small size, the fact that it has built-in rechargeable batteries, and the fact that it has a lav mic built into the transmitter itself. It's going to be a little bit easier to just throw on a subject and get filming than the other two. However, those things that are conveniences to some people might be drawbacks to some others. I personally don't like the fact that you can't swap out batteries, so if you do run out of power, you will have to hook up a USB power bank, which is a little bit intrusive and, you know, definitely not as convenient, but that's not the end of the world, and it's cool that they allow you to do that. The Movo does not allow you to plug in a USB device and power it while it's in use, so you will have to swap out batteries. So if you're in a situation where you run out of AAA batteries on set, you might be in a pickle, but most likely, if you're used to using this system, you're probably going to have those AAA batteries on hand and it won't be an issue anyway. The Filmmaker kit, for as good as it sounds, and I have had it for the past month, I personally wouldn't buy it again just because it is really expensive for what you get. It sounds great, the construction's great, and if you're doing a lot of professional stuff out in the wild, it's going to be a little bit more durable, but honestly, if you're going to spend that much money, I don't see why you wouldn't like go up to like a Sennheiser kit or a Shure kit or something that's, you know, actual professional grade. I'm not saying that Rode isn't professional grade stuff, but it's kind of like in that like consumer grade, pro grade kind of limbo where you're paying a lot of money, but are you actually getting the returns of paying that money compared to some of the other choices? I don't know. This video was just to make an assessment of how these sound and what they do and what you get, and it's up to you to make the decision, you know, of what you need. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please go down there, hit the subscribe button, throw a comment on there, maybe even throw a like on there. And once again, if you do want to purchase any of these products, please consider using the affiliate link in the description. That way I get a little bit of a kickback. It won't cost you any differently, but it'll help me keep this channel alive and is greatly appreciated. See you next time.